Well, welcome to the 700 Club. A few days ago, Judge Brett Kavanaugh seemed to be a shoo-in for the Supreme Court nomination, and now he's been accused of sexual assault over an incident that allegedly happened when he was in high school.
The Senate Judicial Committee has delayed its confirmation vote so it can hear from Kavanaugh and his accuser, Christine Blasey Ford. As Capitol Hill correspondent Abigail Robertson reports, Kavanaugh's supporters questioned the release and the timing of these accusations.
Judge Kavanaugh's Supreme Court confirmation has quickly moved from safe to uncertain as senators process what to make of the 11th hour sexual assault allegations brought against him. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell blasted Democrats Monday for not raising the issue sooner and for leaking it to the press instead of bringing it before the committee.
After Democrats have spent weeks and weeks searching for any possible reason that the nomination should be delayed, now they choose to introduce this allegation.
Judge Kavanaugh maintains the allegation is completely false, and both he and his accuser, Dr. Christine Blasey Ford, will get a chance to publicly tell their stories to the Judiciary Committee starting next Monday.
For too long, women have made serious allegations of abuse and have been ignored or dragged through the mud. It would be a disgrace if this body and our fellow Republicans let that happen.
Despite the turmoil delaying Kavanaugh's confirmation, President Trump remains confident.
It will, I'm sure, work out very well. You're talking about an individual who is as high a quality individual as you'll ever see.
But questions the timeline of the accusations.
This is something that should have been brought up long before this. They had the information in July, as I understand it. That's a long time ago.
Republicans hold a razor-thin majority, and just 2 no votes from within the party could mean the end of Kavanaugh's nomination. Reporting from Capitol Hill, Abigail Robertson, CBN News.
Well, this is certainly going to be high drama, and it's going to be televised, and we're all going to get to hear the testimony on either side. We'll see the political effects of this as well, and I think every senator on that committee is going to be well aware that we're less than 50 days from a major midterm election that could determine the shape of the government going forward. Will the Republicans hold on to the House of Representatives? Will they hold on to the Senate? So there's a lot at stake. Every single question a senator asks is going to be scrutinized. But more importantly, the character of both Mrs. Ford and Judge Kavanaugh, it's all going to be under a microscope. The big issue here is not will Kavanaugh be nominated to the Supreme Court? Will he survive this? That's not the big issue. I think the longer-term issue is one for our republic. Who is going to stand for these positions going forward? If something you do in high school is going to be dredged up 40 years later, who's going to stand in front of that? How can we find qualified people to run for office, to stand for these hearings, to go through the confirmation process? We've become so politicized and so divided, and it's just a shame what's happening to the republic. Here's another prediction. Judge Kavanaugh and Christine Ford, neither one of them are going to survive this. You go back in history, look at what happened to Anita Hill, what happened to Clarence Thomas. Clarence Thomas made it to the Supreme Court. He made it through the process. But I don't think he's ever recovered from the allegations that were leveled against him back in the 1980s. And so we'll probably see the same thing here. This is not just going to be national news. This is going to be international news. And the 2 participants here are really not going to survive it. Well, in other news, Florence is now soaking the Northeast as a tropical depression, and while the Carolinas are still dealing with heavy floods from the storm. 31 people have been killed, and as CBN's Eric Rosales shows us, FEMA and some Christian ministries are braving the dangers to bring help.
Carolina River still rising. Mountain streams flooding neighborhoods.
We know that we're going to have a significant flooding event in eastern North Carolina. We do know that the Lumber River, the Northeast Cape Fear River, the Black River, the Cape Fear River are all going to be past flood stage.
Right now, there's no way in or out of Wilmington. Rescues continue throughout the Carolinas. Now the hunt is on for necessities like food, and help is on the way. Behind me are 20 FEMA trucks with enough food and water to feed some 60,000 people over the next 4 days here in Wilmington. Wilmington officials say that it was a journey from Fort Bragg to here that took them many hours to complete, and they needed a police escort.
The major arteries are all closed. They're flooded. This took a coordinated effort with the State Highway Patrol, literally taking them through back road after back road after back road.
Local churches and organizations are also helping. Mercy Chefs from Virginia dishing out some 16,000 meals a day.
We'll do on-site feeding. We'll be sending food out to the local community, making door-to-door deliveries.
For Blair Parrish, receiving diapers saved her a trip to the store and long lines for her newborn.
We thought we were prepared, but as we find out, we weren't quite as prepared as we thought. Officials
are urging people to stay off the road. Some 1,200 roadways are still closed in North Carolina alone. In Wilmington, Eric Rosales, CBN News.
Florence brought record amounts of rainfall to parts of North Carolina. Over 1 million people lost power. Many in the hardest hit areas need food and water, and they're getting that help courtesy of Operation Blessing.
After routing around closed highways and making it through flooded streets, the Operation Blessing team set up to serve meals to families in need in Lumberton, North Carolina.
Oh, y'all are a blessing. There's not enough thank yous to go around. It's like speechless, especially when you got children.
This is one of the areas hardest hit by Hurricane Florence. Pastor Mike Bowen is doing his best to help his congregation.
Our town's in dire straits right now and drastic needs, but this time it hit land and slowed down and kept dropping rain for over 48 hours to our town.
Step one is getting people water and getting them fed.
It was really a blessing that y'all came in and it helped us a lot.
So we're serving hot meals back here. Over here we have pallets of water stacked up ready to give to people. We have an entire truckload of food to help people. And pretty soon we're really going to help them start the cleanup process. We've got a trailer filled with demolition and cleanup equipment. We're taking people's names, getting their requests, and pretty soon we're really going to help them get back on their feet. In the weeks ahead, once the floodwaters subside, Operation Blessing will be saving people's homes. Right now, people are just grateful for a hot meal.
It's a blessing, really. And I just want to thank them so much, because without them, who knows what we would be doing and where we would get it from.
Pastor Bowen said he deeply appreciates those who support the work of Operation Blessing for helping the community and the members of the church in Lumberton.
I want to say thank y'all again for giving to our church. The Bible says you're storing up treasure in heaven by doing this. Thank y'all.
And thank you. If you're a member of the 700 Club, you're part of that. You're part of all the food we're distributing, all the water we're distributing, all the relief supplies, all the cleanup supplies. You're a part of all of that because you cared enough to give. So thank you. Thank you on behalf of everyone in North Carolina who's receiving aid. Over the past month, Operation Blessing has been involved in major disasters, whether that's the volcano in Guatemala, the earthquakes in Indonesia, the massive typhoon that hit northern Philippines, and also right here at home with Florence. Thank you. Because of you, we're able to bring help to all those people in need.